What's up, Packer fans? Welcome back. So excited to be here. We got to see the Packers finally play another preseason game on Friday against the Saints, one that they won 20-10. That was super fun to watch. Go back and watch my video reviewing that game. I'm just excited to see how this team kind of comes together here. We got big news coming out of Green Bay this morning. When I saw it, I was with my dad and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And he doesn't really care too much, so I was super pumped. It's having David Bakhtiari come off the PUP list. That's huge. I thought it was gonna be a few more weeks. Actually, I thought it could be even like the last day. Right, I think it's either week 4 or week 6 where they have to bring him back. I thought it could take until then. I wasn't really too confident that he would be off the PUP list even at all. I thought, if he had a setback, it'd be another season or so. But I hadn't heard enough about his progress. They weren't saying anything. David was pretty hush hush about it, just saying, he likes where he's at and all this. Just probably not trying to jinx it, knock on wood. So super excited. David said that I was going to have to be pulled away from my ankles with my nails gripping the ground, being ripped off. So I definitely was not going to go out without a fight. Definitely tested me. 20 months. He got hurt on New Year's Eve of 2020. That's, 20 months ago, like I said. So for him to finally get out there, be back, was huge. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers knew about it. They came to practice on like a golf cart. Maybe it was a UTV, but bumping Gin and Juice by Snoop Dogg and Dre. So pretty funny. I love, Rodgers' whole new attitude, and to have his best buddy, the giraffe, David Bakhtiari. We all see him at Bucks games. We all love him. 6'4", 320, went to Colorado, 4th rounder. I've known that forever. My dad actually asked me that today. So I'm like, yeah, he's probably the second best left tackle in football now, with Trent Williams of the 49ers kind of taking that spot last year since Bakhtiari was out. I hope that he's back to form. He can come in and play right away and be just as good as he was before all of this. The injury obviously set him back. He tried to come back last year before or for the Detroit game. It was the last game of the season, week 18. Rodgers played a little bit. The Packers didn't need their starters to play. So they had him in there at left tackle, and he played well. He did like 27 or so snaps or something like that, I think it was. And so then I thought he was good. They brought him out. Didn't really think much of it. But then the 49er game, though, 2 weeks later, the playoff game that we lost last year, he wasn't in. He didn't play. And it was kind of odd because I was like, well, why would you have him play the Lions game and not have him play the 49ers game? It would have made more sense. He kind of deserved to be in that spot. So I just really didn't get why he didn't play. And if they shouldn't have brought him back, if he was kind of still iffy. They should have waited, let him try to get some snaps against the Niners. But whatever, that's what happened. And then after that, he had 2 more setbacks, it sounds like, because he had 2 more surgeries, and it just compiled into now 20 months. But August 21st, he's back. And now our offensive line is going to be that top 5 offensive line like was projected. I think PFF rated us top 5. I kind of picked us for being top 5. There's a lot of other analysts and everything talking about how they were going to be elite if they had both Elkin Jenkins, who could be an all-pro at whatever position they put him in. He could be an all-pro center, all-pro guard, all-pro tackle, even left tackle. That's how good Jenkins is. I think they'll throw him to right tackle, and then having Bakhtiari, all-pro, who's already won an all-pro at left tackle. You can pretty much put whoever you want at the guard positions. Then I think it's going to be Josh Myers at center, of course, and then probably John Runyon Jr. Looks like he locked up that left guard spot no matter what happens. He's super solid. So I think the weakness is that right side, and the Packers know it. So I don't know if they kick Royce Newman from tackle to guard now and have Jenkins at right tackle, or if they keep Jake Hansen at right guard and have him in there. It's going to be a battle for that spot. It could be Zach Tom, too. I really like Zach Tom, and Sean Ryan plays that spot, too, but it looks like Zach Tom's ahead of him as well. That's going to be the spot that's open. I think JRJ, John Runyon Jr., has that left guard spot locked up completely. He looks like he's really good, ready to go. Then you get back there. It's this offensive line could really be elite. having the bookends with Jenkins and Bach, like I've been saying, that's such a relief for Rodgers. He knows that, he's not going to have guys coming off the edge that aren't, at least getting blocked a little bit. You have just smart guys out there that know what they're doing and have been doing it at a high level for a long time. Then you throw Mercedes Lewis next to them, and now you got like another tackle out there. So this Packers team is starting to come together. I couldn't be more excited. We already know this defense is elite. We can see it. We've seen it with the backups. I know it's just preseason, but they're doing really well. We know that our running back tandem with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon is elite. So that's probably a top 5 running back tandem. So then you throw in like our secondary, if you want to break it all down. But obviously the weakness on the team was the offensive line and then the receivers. But with Bakhtiari and Jenkins both back, that takes our offensive line up to top 5. We know Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, is top 3, top 1, whatever, top 5 for sure. So we're like top 5 across the board. Special teams needs to be worked on, obviously, but I think that'll come around. As long as they don't make the mistakes, the rest of the team will win the game. Just don't be the reason why they lose like they were last year. That's all that I ask. And then if there's receivers are starting to come on. We're starting to see them play well. I think they'll be a top 10 receiving group, maybe top 15, but I think they'll be better than people think with Watson and Doubs and then having Watkins and Lazard and Cobb. I think with Rodgers back there, there's no way they can be really held down too much. Rodgers is going to throw the ball a lot to the running backs. He's going to be hitting Jones and Dillon out of the backfield a whole lot. So I look for this offense to really be a mix of guys, but I think it's going to still be upper echelon because it is Aaron Rodgers. I don't see him just going downhill all of a sudden. I just don't see it. So that'll be at least good enough. And then, like I said, the offensive line was the only real issue. If Bakhtiari was out still and if Jenkins was out, then we'd be super, kind of screwed in that aspect. So, yeah, just great to have Bakhtiari back. We also got Enos Gaines back today, the safety, so that gives that spot a little bit of relief. I know, I didn't really talk about Dallin Levitt being injured or making the roster because I didn't think he would, but it sounds like he would have been that safety that's he is Bisaccia's guy, so having him be like a special teamer, safety kind of back there, he played well when he was out there. So I just thought these other guys had a leg up. But now that Bakhtiari is back, it kind of, settles a little bit of those offensive line questions. We might not have to keep 9 or 10 like I had suggested before in the first and second of my mock draft or my mock 53 man. So it might be only 8 or 9 now. So I still think they'll probably keep 9 just because they have some young guys that are good. But who knows? It might be a few guys go to the practice squad and who knows what happens. So, yeah, still out of, the Packers they cut down to 80 guys today. So going in, they got rid of Chauncey Manick, the outside linebacker. He was doing okay. We see his name here and there. And then Ty Clary, a center, he's gone. They got rid of Malik Taylor. He went to the IR. I saw something about Dominic Daphne. He went on IR. That's why he was kind of cut, but he was on IR. Dante Vaughn was on IR too. So, and like I said, Malik Taylor. So there's other guys that went on, that was last week, but still there was, why did they get cut? I got asked questions about why they got cut. So it's just, now they're getting down to the 80. So we're starting to get there. It's going to be a mad dash to the finish. We only have one more preseason game left. It's obvious. I think it's on Thursday this week, the 25th. So that'll be fun to watch. It's at Kansas City, the place where Jordan Love went down and played his first game last year. We know that they lost, but the defense played really well, and he looked okay. But coming out of last week, he was graded elite in his New Orleans game, like 3 big throws, and just graded pretty high on some of those in the pocket and everything. So really big for him. I think he had a good night. Probably not what people wanted to see playing into the fourth quarter. He only had 100 and whatever 13 yards or something like that, and he was 12 for 24, 1 touchdown. But the throws were good. He had a nice throw, a crosser to Winfrey, and then he had the one in the end zone. So he played well, but I just look for him to, continue to stack days. That's all they can do is continue to stack days. And yeah, we'll see what he can do. So this defense really starting to look really good. Like I said, Jair Alexander's he's having fun with it. He's gonna shut down whoever he's going against. I cannot wait for him to be back. This Packers team is starting to get healthy, and we haven't had, knock on wood, a million times, a lot of major injuries since the start of training camp and all that. So I'm super excited that these guys are back and ready to go, and it looks like this team is coming together. I kind of made the prediction today, like I think they're going to do it. It looks like they have the team to do it. They really do, and I know I'm biased, and I know I say that too often, and I know I say it pretty much every single year, even the Mike Sherman years. But still, this time I think it's for real. They've never really had top five every kind of category across the board. Even Pat O'Donnell as the punter is really a solid punter. So a guy that can kick in cold weather, kicked at Chicago. It's starting to come around. It looks like we're getting the pieces. So, the position battles are still open. I guess on defense, outside linebacker is still a big spot that we're watching, guys. I don't know if you saw it. You can check out the video. I have it on the channel. JJ Enagbar, he's the outside linebacker number 55 out of South Carolina, was going up against one of the Sades. I think it was on the right side, the right tackle. So he was going up against him and totally did like a ghost move, and the guy tried to get his hands on him, and JJ just kind of like ducked underneath him and couldn't get his hands on him, so he couldn't block him. JJ missed Ian Book by just a sec, like just missed him, and he made him rush up and run up, and I don't know how the play finishes really, but it was really exciting to see how he's progressed. He's doing so well. It's really exciting. I think he's on the roster pretty much for sure, just because of where he was drafted, but he still had to perform. But I'm excited to see how he's progressed. He started out slow, and so far the last couple weeks, like these last 2 weeks here, he's really come on. Really strong, like super strong. We drafted Devontae Wyatt and Quay Walker in the first round. We drafted Christian Watson in the second round. Those were the 3 top picks, and they're the 3 that have like the least amount of buzz. I know that Walker's been doing his job. I think he's gonna be solid. He's just good. He's just not a talker really. Watson was injured, we know that, but I think he's gonna come on a little slow. And then Devontae Wyatt, I saw some flashes. I really did see some flashes by him. He up the middle, he got somewhere he kind of over pursued, and this quarterback stepped up, which is tough. So it's tough for him to learn from. But I really think that I just like his hustle. I like his quickness. I like his strength. I like what I see out of him. He's just got to kind of fix a few things, maybe some technique issues. But so far he looks really good. And then so out of those 3 guys, the buzz hasn't been around him. It's been around Zach Tom, the 4th rounder out of Wake Forest, JJ Enagbar, the outside linebacker. I think he was the 4th rounder out of South Carolina. Maybe he was the 5th rounder out of South Carolina. And then, like the other receivers, Samari Torre, and then obviously Romeo Doubs, 4th rounder out of Nevada. He is the big talk of the town of Green Bay. So it's everybody's, kind of had their eyes on the top picks, the top 3 picks, first rounder, second rounder, and it's been these other guys who have really stepped up and started making plays. And now it still gives them time for the first rounders to step up and make the plays. Christian Watson had a few nice catches today. He looks really good. He's tall, fast, he can catch, he's got a nice catch radius, all those things. He's the guy that I look for to have, probably around 30 catches, 450 yards, something like that this year. A lot of people are projecting all these guys that have these crazy numbers, but I really think it's going to be offense by committee. The running backs could have 50 catches each, even more than that. Jones could have more than that. Then Lazard's going to have his grabs. I know Cobb's going to have some catches. He had a 2 touchdown game last year, so he gets involved in the offense. Sammy Watkins might have a day, and Dobbs might step up. So it's there's Winfrey's going to kind of get into this offense. So we have a lot of guys that are going to contribute. Robert Tonyan's back. This offense is going to be dynamic. They've got guys on different levels, different skill sets, and all those things. And then you have 12 getting them the ball, and to me, is still the best thrower of the football that I've ever seen. Patrick Mahomes is fun to watch, but I still think his throw is a little dirty. Rodgers is so clean and everything. It just It's really great. It's really awesome to watch, and I think he's gonna make all these guys better. Devontae Adams wasn't Devontae Adams until he got with Rodgers. Obviously, he's good. He was a second rounder out of Fresno, so he had the skill, but he still wasn't who he is now. Number rated 99 in Madden, All Pro, without Rodgers. So, super fun to see how this offense progresses, and it's there's a today just Rodgers throwing a nice easy one over to Robert Tiny, and it's just nice to see these guys back together again, throwing the ball to each other. Just they're usually really good friends, especially Rodgers and Bobby and Rodgers and David Bakhtiari. They're so close on and off the field, so it really does help these players when they get guys back. Big news from special teams today. My guy, Ramiz Ahmed, kicker out of USFL. He came from the USFL. He has actually the record in the USFL for 61-yard field goal. And today he was 4 for 4, 33-yarder, 41-yarder, 44-yarder, and 46-yarder. He's just doing what he has to do. I know that it's pretty much Crosby's job to lose, but he's the guy that if he keeps making kicks with the leg that he has, he's got, like I said, he's got the 61-yarder. He even asked during that game, he asked his coach, like on a different drive, if he could kick a 64-yarder, but the coach thought that was going to be a little too far, but then he came out and nailed a 61-yarder. After he made the first four, then he came out and made a 48-yarder and a 51-yarder. He looks like he is vying to try to take this kicking job. He's a guy that's been kicking all year because of the USFL, and Crosby's been hurt. So I just like the fact that if Crosby can't come off the PUP list right away, if they do need to run with this guy, and if he does beat Crosby out straight up, I hope that he can handle the pressure of the games and he just stays true. Looks like he's figured out whatever accuracy issues were burdening him in the past. So super fun. It's just position battles all over the place. It's special teams. We know it was our blunder last year. We know it was the big issue. We don't want to talk about the fact that that's why we lost the game. But Rodgers had his opportunities as well, and he can say all he wants about whatever, but he was too Devontae centric, and I think that this whole new offense, this whole new attitude from everybody is going to really pay dividends. Super exciting. I was at lunch today watching. They had the countdown on NFL Network on, and I see big Devondre Campbell, All-Pro. First Packers All-Pro middle linebacker since Ray Nitschke. I guess I didn't think about it, but I probably knew that, but I guess who else would have been the All-Pro besides Nitschke? But I thought maybe the Packers would have had at least one since then. A.J. Hawk never was All-Pro. Nick Burnett was never All-Pro. Obviously, Blake Martinez was never All-Pro. But, Bernardo Harris was never All-Pro. Back to George Kuntz. Back in the 90s when I first started loving the Packers, he was never an All-Pro. So, Devondre Campbell, first Packers middle linebacker, first team All-Pro since Ray Nitschke, number 49 on the countdown. He came in after not having a team really last year. I think he was on the Falcons and the Cardinals before the Packers. Both did not give him, a contract, and he just never. I don't know if he ever got like a super starting role where he was the guy. But now with the Packers, he's showed what he can do. His Twitter handle is came a long way. And I think he really has through all of what he's worked through, all what he's had to deal with. Last year kind of being a guy where Packers just needed somebody because Blake left and they just needed to fill in because Ty Summers was their guy and Jake Ryan or whatever. So it was, it was time for them to go get somebody. Campbell, he's 6'3", runs a 4.5, just like Quay Walker. They're both tall and fast. He can catch. He can cover running backs and wide receivers and tight ends, and he can stuff the run. He's just solid all the way around. I love having him in the middle. To me, he was the second most important offseason move the Packers had to make behind Aaron Rodgers. I thought he was even more important than Devontae and Douglas, but because they let go of Devontae, they were able to give Campbell and Douglas contracts. Pretty much the only way they were able to afford both those guys. if they would have had Devontae, those guys probably would have been gone. And I know they had to let go of Zadarius Smith, but to me, I think he's going to have back issues. I hate to, talk about anybody getting injured or anything like that. I don't wish that on anybody, but I just knew his back was an issue last year. I don't know. Those are tough injuries. Those are really tough injuries. So I just look to see how this new core of young outside linebackers kind of fares. But with a guy in the middle like Campbell, they should be able to succeed. He's going to have him in the right spot, the right position, and just ready to play. I just really like how this team has kind of come together. Gutekunst has done a really awesome job, and it just looks like these guys are flying around. They know this. They know the defense now after last year. They like playing for Matt LaFleur, and Rodgers being in the mood he is in, or in this new mindset, this new mode. I think it's going to be great for him and this team as a whole. The position battles continue. There was Sean Davis and Vernon Scott were like safety 3-4 right behind Darnell Savage and Adrian Amos. Scott was playing well, and then he hurt himself, like I said in the other video, in the Saints game, which is tough because I haven't seen what the injury is yet, like the severity of it. But then Micah Abernathy came in and had that big pick interception, so huge for him. I know Sean Davis had that fumble recovery and return, so those two guys have big nights, and Vernon Scott gets hurt. Like I said, Enos Gaines came back today. He had a hamstring, so it helps there to have another safety out there. But like I said, Dallin's out. Tariq Carpenter hasn't really come on like they thought. And so to get Enos Gaines back, that helps. But it's really going to be Sean Davis's job to lose now. If Scott has any type of injury for a while, or if he's out for any period of time, or basically it's Sean Davis moves into that 3 spot. And that leaves a door open for safety number 4. If Enos Gaines, Micah Abernathy, if Dallin Levitt can get back quick, and I think there's another guy that I'm missing, but still exciting that all these guys are going to have a game here against Kansas City. I don't think they're playing Mahomes in this one. I know Mahomes went like 18-26 for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns and like a half of football this weekend. Pretty amazing. I have the Giants-Bengals game on now. It's 7-6 in the first or second quarter here, so that's fun to watch. I just always got football on, even NFL Network, just in case. There's replays of games that we don't get in our market. I get to watch them later on, which is always fun. So, but anyway, the Packers defense, we got those young guys. We got the corners, like I said. Guy in the back, like Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage, getting Savage back is going to be huge. I want to make sure he's ready to go. I don't know where he's at. I don't know what the status is, but I look for him to get back. I look for this defense to be super elite. They have guys on all levels. Having 3, I don't know if you'd say elite corners. I know Jair's elite, but Stokes and Rasul Douglas are just really, really good. So I don't know if that's elite, but I wouldn't technically put them in an elite category. However, having 3 guys with their caliber as your 1, 2, and 3, that's huge. Having 2 safeties, like a guy that's so dependable like Amos, and then a guy that can really ball hawk like Savage. And then this front 7 is going to be ridiculous. I don't know what these guys are going to do, how they're going to stop them. It's been a huge test for the offensive line. Today, the offensive line started with Yash Nijman, John Runyan Jr., Josh Myers, Jake Hansen, and Royce Newman at right tackle, left to right there. So those guys have been getting really good work when it came to going up against the Packers defensive line every day, the Packers front every day. I like that Yash has pretty much solidified himself as left tackle. If Bach wasn't ready, he was ready to go, and he looked like he could play good. That's always nice to have in your back pocket, especially with Bach, with his knee. You never know when it might flare up, and Yash will have to get in there. Hope it doesn't happen. Hope he's good to go for the season. We really need him, and it's a huge piece, huge piece. I'm so pumped that Bakhtiari is back. I just really thought he was going to be out for a while. I didn't think he'd be back before the end of training camp. I didn't think he'd be back before the start of the season even. So huge news out of Green Bay. Such a relief that he's back, and such a big boost for this Packers team. Today was, more of a walkthrough. They didn't do a whole lot football-wise. I think they're going to get into practice. I don't know if they do a scrimmage tomorrow with Kansas City and then or not, but I'll have to look and see if they do a scrimmage them. Otherwise, they'll have a padded practice tomorrow, and then the game is Thursday, so that'll be fun. They'll have to get down to Kansas City, and that's it for preseason. After that, then they'll have 2 weeks until September 11th, my birthday, which is cool, to play the Vikings at 3:25 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I'm pumped. I cannot wait. It just keeps getting closer and closer. Hopefully this, you don't want summer to end, but as soon as summer ends, it's football time, so it doesn't suck, but it kind of sucks. So, but you still want. I'm pumped for football either way. Watching training camp's been great. Getting down to the 80-man roster, like I said, Packers made their cuts. Starting to really kind of form. The cuts they made are not guys that were on my 53-man. So Sal Cannella still on the team, the tight end, who I don't have making a roster, but still cool to see him out there. And then Ishmael Hyman's still on the team, the receiver. I don't have him making it either, but still cool to see him out there. And just looking forward to how this whole team kind of structures itself. I think there's a real good core, solid group of guys, and a lot of young talent coming in to mix in with what the Packers already have as kind of their foundation. So I'm pumped, cannot wait. Thanks guys for watching this video. I'll be back again as soon as I get some more Packers news. So don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and see you guys later. Go Packers, go. Peace.